we are going to discuss about identifying and engaging stakeholders. What are stakeholders? Stakeholders are individuals, groups, or organizations involved in or affected by the project. So we need to understand that stakeholders, you can have two of them, either internal or external. Internal, we are talking of team members, managers, departments. External, we can have customers, suppliers, then government bodies. Let's talk about influence. Stakeholders can support or resist a project, impacting its success. So what we need to understand is that those stakeholders, either internal or external, they can either support or work against your project. And by the end of the day, it can impact it. Either it can be done successfully or not successful just because of based on the reaction of the stakeholders. So we already said of those examples. Internal, we can talk of those people within among the team, like we can talk of senior managers, project team members, project officers, all those project assistant, all those guys. Then external, we can talk of our clients, local communities, and the like. So for example, let's say you are delivering a borehole project to a certain area, right? A water project to a certain area. That means your team, the where you're coming from, like yourself, a project manager, your bosses, right, and your project officers, all those they fall under the category of um, internal stakeholders. But where you are implementing your project, let's say the local community, the local community themselves, that is the external stakeholder, right? Okay, identifying stakeholders. How do we identify these people? Number one, brainstorming. So whenever you're having a project, you can just sit down and think, who can be the stakeholders in this particular project? Then you are going to come up with some of them. Number two, stakeholder mapping. You can try to write a map, to say which people are involved here. So you can start writing those guys who have got high power or high influence in your project, as well as high interest. Then you can be mapping it down up to where you have got people with lower power and lower interest. So after mapping, that map is going to tell you that this and this and this one, these are stakeholders. Another one is a consultation. So you can meet just an expert. You'll meet an expert, then an expert is going to tell you that according to your project, these are the stakeholders. Another one, it is project documentation. Project documentation, that means you're going to refer in the documents of similar projects which happens in the past. So through referring to those ones, those papers are going to tell you the likely people who are supposed to be the stakeholders in your project. Okay, let's talk about engaging stakeholders. We need to understand, number one, we need to understand the needs and their expectations. So how can we know these ones? We can conduct interviews, surveys, meetings to learn what stakeholders want, right? Number two, we can engage them by what we call clear communication. So you need to share updates regularly in format suited to the audience. So you need to give them the progress of the project at each and every point, but you need to address them according to how they are supposed to be addressed. Another one is involve stakeholders in decisions. So you can engage them by involving them in the decision making in whatever you are trying to do. Right. So for example, you are offering water project somewhere else. So let's say it's a borehole, right? That means you're going to take those local people. You say, where can we drill a borehole? You don't just come to a certain place and say, we are going to drill here. No, they are going to assist you in that particular process. So you're trying to involve them. Another one is manage expectations. So you need to be realistic about the deliverables and the deadlines. So you need to manage expectations. So whatever you be saying them, you should whatever you be telling them, you should be able to fulfill them. Okay, addressing concerns and feedback. For you to address concerns, because wherever there are stakeholders, that means it's a group of people, right? So likely there might be some concerns, right? And you need to give some feedback. You understand? So you need, number one, to listen carefully, right? Um, you need to listen carefully. So this one will help you to acknowledge their concern and avoid frustrations. So when you listen carefully, you know exactly what they are trying to say. Now, another one is respond promptly. So you need to try to respond as fast as you can. Another one is collaborate on solutions. Whenever you are having some challenges, it is good to call those stakeholders in to do what we call stakeholder meeting. So you tell them the challenge that you're encountering and try to reason together with them on how you can find the solution to the challenge you are facing. Right. Okay. So for example, let's say a stakeholder is somehow dissatisfied. You need to respond calmly, right? And propose actionable solution. So you don't need to be harsh to the stakeholders. No, whenever you are doing a project, please be calm with the stakeholders. Okay. Let's talk about stakeholder engagement strategies. Number one, regular updates. So you need to be giving them update every time. So you can be conducting meetings with them. You can just be sending emails, right? You can be sending them reports, whether through WhatsApp or whatever means that you can use. Another one, you need to be able to build trust. So you should be transparent about the progress, risk, and the challenges. So everything what is happening, be transparent to explain to them. Create a stakeholder registry, right? So you document stakeholders' laws, interest, and communication preference, right? So you should be able to do that. Another one is that maintain relationship. So you need to keep communication consistent to ensure stakeholder support. So you need to be able to make sure that your communication is very, very good so that your relationship should be good as well. Right. Thank you so much.